maybe for some, it's fantastic for us to host Leo. Leo, thank you so much for coming and joining us once again on the WPG platform. I know that you are well versed in doing these masterclasses, and we're going to take a lot from your feedback. For those that don't know Leo, he's a former alumni of WPG. He was actually the first soloist on the very first USA tour some 8 years ago, something like that. And since then, his career has flourished. I think you're probably one of the most seasoned travelers I think I know in terms of flying around the world. So, Leo, thanks so much for coming on board with us today.
Yeah, my great pleasure to be here. And hello, everyone. It's been really fun to working with all the WPG members, and we did this last year, and I'm very happy to be here to working with all of you. I hope I can learn something from you, and I hope you can get some different ideas from me as well. Said it was a great memory when I was on the very first trip in the US tour with the WPG, and we had a great long trip and played lots of concerts in different So I hope you all enjoying the current season, and I hope to see you in person one day.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And maybe if you wouldn't mind, just talk about sort of your recent career developments. I know you're very active in Asia and have taken on a lot of professorships recently, so that would be quite interesting.
Yeah, so my main work is I'm a soloist, and I'm playing around the world for my solo concerts, and traveling quite a lot in Asia, because originally I come from China, and I moved to UK 20 years ago when I was a student and studying in the Royal Northern College of Music in Manchester. So later on, I become a professor at the Royal Northern College of Music, and also become a deputy head of percussion there. And then got my other professorship last year, actually 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago in China. So now I'm a head of percussion and a professor at the Chinese University of Hong Kong in Shenzhen. So that's two of my main job of teaching. And besides of that, I was traveling to doing some concertos. I just been to Vienna concert halls last month, and I went to Mozarteum University in Salzburg and Linz. And just came back from my long trip in Austria, and then doing some concerts in China currently. So, and today here with us, everybody in WPG.
Amazing. And are you going to have any sort of summer holiday or not really? Just
I tried putting my holidays, in between concerts and doing some things. And now I manage my time really well, at age 36, after, my student life for not very long ago, because this year is my 10th year of teaching. So now I can
Oh, we just lost Leo there for a while. All right. Oh, there we are. He's back.
Oh, sorry.
Are you back?
Yes, I'm back. So I just said I'm now managing my life quite in a good balance. So I think life and music is as important as equally, important. So
yeah, fantastic. All right. Well, because I know it's very, very late where you are, so thank you. As additional thank you for that. We won't hold you up as any more than we wish to. Jake, we're going to bring on our first artist, Jake.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? Do you want to just say a little bit about yourself, where you're going to be studying and what you're going to be performing today for Leo and the people watching?
Yep. So this fall, I'm going to be a master's student at Eastman, and today I'm going to be playing variations.
All right, so we'll just watch the video. Leo, do you want to watch the whole thing, or if you don't, just give me a hand wave when you're ready, and I'll duly got things. All right.
Sure. Great. Hi, Jake.
Hi.
Hi. Great playing.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I think it's great energy. Also, I think great contrast you brought for this performance. So I just want to ask, how do you think what you did for this performance?
Well, so um,
Maybe put in this way. What do you think you did really great? What's good about performance?
I think what I did really well is I think I did a good job of maintaining the theme and highlighting that throughout the piece, or at the very least knowing exactly where it was. I also think, yeah, I did a good job of keeping the energy high,
Mhm.
and also score studying and figuring out where like counterpoint within the piece is, um, and also just being able to keep the uh, accuracy pretty high, despite it being really hard in some areas.
Mhm.
Because that took me a while to be able to get.
Yeah.
And yeah, like those I think are like the biggest things that I did well.
Yeah. What do you think you need to improve?
Well, one thing that's been kind of thrown at me a lot throughout WPG is posture. I was just told that I should have the instrument lower than it probably should actually be. So since then, I've changed to raise it, and that's helped me a lot.
I have notes written down here that that was my first thing.
Yeah.
Standing positions.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to like do this with my neck a lot
Mhm.
when I would play. So yeah, like that's a change I've made since, and that's really helped me.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that I think, which that kind of I think plays into really kind of everything else, because I think my a posture problem made it so that I couldn't um,
Yeah.
achieve certain musical ideas, or
Mhm.
easily change my touch. So
Mhm. Yeah.
um, yeah, but yeah, kind of going along with that, like when I was performing this piece, because I was doing it for auditions, I kind of took like a bit of a maximalist approach to like my interpretation, where I kind of tried to make the most out of everything possible.
Yeah.
And I think in retrospect, in some areas, I kind of would now play it differently and kind of focus more on like the overarching parts of it, rather than kind of like the small nitty gritty.
Mhm.
Because I think I dived into that really hard, which I think was important for me at the time. But
Mhm.
now I think, yeah, I would like to explore that side of it more.
Yeah, great. So basically, I've written down something here. I think it's just from my perspective, and I have some kind of just purely just when I watch that performance. If I have something I want to give to you, and maybe some ideas and some, something. Hopefully, it will help you to improve a little bit, or to get some different ideas for you. I think I really remembered when Michael came to my university, like um, about 12 years ago, I think, when I did my international artist diploma, and he came to judge my recital, and it was a very long time ago. He did a class, and then he was talking about this piece, because the relationship in between himself and Van Yao, because Van Yao is a great composer for percussion, and based in London, in the UK. So that's why he's always constantly travel to both countries to talk about music, and then they came up this idea about this piece. So I've been knowing this piece, I've been hearing this piece a lot, and also I think you choose this piece for your auditions, and we can really clearly tell where you want to go for your masters, and which you
Right.
got it, which is great.
Yeah. That's why I picked the piece. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, congratulations for the thing. And I think
Thanks.
for me, for few things I want to talk about is set the positions. Basically, I've mentioned the first question is a standing position. I think the in between you and the instruments is very important, and very very kind of how to say, the number one thing I always say to the students, or to myself as well, because when you go on stage, imagine you go on stage to perform to your audience. Imagine you playing in Carnegie Hall, you're playing in in and to show to the audience. I think the relationship in between you and the instruments is so important. I almost feel like this is my best friend, or this is my something, it really belonged to me. So basically it's a trust for the audience to see how the relationship in between you and the instruments. I feel you did it really well, but for me, I was thinking how the relationship in between you and the instruments. I wasn't very convinced how good you two, if you know what I'm talking about.
Like there's friction.
Yeah, so basically, I feel like the movement you did with the instruments while you're playing the piece, for example, how you move your feet, how you move your body, I don't feel it's quite natural. I feel sometimes almost just a little bit awkward for you to move around the instruments. I don't know, somehow, probably as you said, the height of the instruments in how you play down with the instruments. I think the first thing is, if I look at you, I want to see you really comfortable in front of instrument, absolutely top, and you're absolutely in charge of this 8 minutes or 10 minutes performance when you play this piece with the instruments. I think it's very important. It's the trust. Before you play, I saw you go walking on stage, and you starting to play the piece with the mallets. I feel like this fire or something, if you know what I mean. I feel like this already picked up the trust in between you and the instruments. Then you start playing your piece. I will be like, oh, great. So you absolutely nail it. So basically, what I'm talking is the standing positions and how you manage your positions, gestures with the instruments. I think, for example, the height of the instruments and where you should put your instruments and how your mallets should go and how your movement. Sometimes I don't feel you're very comfortable with your movement when you move up and down of the instruments. How do you feel?
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, that I think is kind of the like a technical thing that I've really been working on, and was working on then even now. I think part of the problem is I didn't really play mallet percussion until I got to college, so there was a big learning curve when I first got to college of like trying to read notes for the first time, and just moving around because I was like a snare drum kid, and I like that's all I did, so I didn't really ever move around a lot. And I think
so how do you
now, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No,
So sorry. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, when you practice like the fundamental things, like the, for example, the scales, and when you move from like middle of the instruments to top of the instruments, and how do you move? Have you ever actually watched yourself when you practice this kind of scales and those kind of basic things? Do you have a mirror in front of you? Have you ever seen that? So and how do you manage that? So, for example, the marimba instrument, I mean, 5-octave marimba is such a big instrument. And how do you move from bottom to the middle to the top? How do you do that?
Well, I firstly always think about my hands. I think about a relaxed, natural place, not only for them to rest and be, but for my arms as well. And then I think about like moving smaller the muscle groups first because they're faster. So like if I need to like move quickly, then like do that. And for a long time, I really tried to plan out my feet moving, which I think has it benefited in some ways, but I think it kind of made me look and feel a little bit more robotic, which is I think evident within the piece I played, where I think I can sometimes like think about doing it too much rather than just being relaxed, if that makes sense. That's been something I've been trying to work on a lot.
But,
so Yeah.
So you go. It's fine. Go on.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, but like that's like generally it. Now I kind of just try to think about finding whatever feels the most relaxed and the most consistent, if that makes sense, without putting my body in a place where like say like, you know, I keep my neck bent and it's like in 20 years is that going to feel good, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Really trying to like think about like the long term of in terms of the way I'm approaching and making sure that I'm keeping my body good and healthy.
Yeah. So basically, when I play the instruments, for example, when I do my exercises, you know, when I do my exercise for the scales and things, I always think I face into this octave that I have to be on this octave rather than this way or that way.
Mhm.
And also my hands doesn't help. So when I almost to finish this octave, I move into the next octave. Obviously, my body has to move, but my feet and also my body always move before my hands move. So it helps me. So basically, my mind move first before my hands. If thinking your arms and your hands move first and your body behind, it's almost like this. It looking it's not great, and also it doesn't help with your vision.
Makes sense.
So when
Okay.
you play this octave, if you're thinking, okay, I'm already playing G and A, so I'm almost land to the next, that means my body have to move, and my head tell me your body have the preparation of how you move to the next one. So gradually, when your hands move to the next octave, then you're gradually already there. So for example, when you look at you or when you look into the mirror, it feels very natural movement. Your body already moves there, and then your hands follows up. Otherwise, it would be like almost like snake.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It doesn't help you to move because sometimes you probably get injured. If sometimes the piece play really fast and you have to move around, you probably get fainted or something.
Mhm.
So it's always your hands move before your hands, so you know where to go, and your hands absolutely follows your minds to go. Body positions, actually, it helps you. I hope that's some little tips to help you.
No, yeah,
just
what? Oh, yeah. Like when I've been like when I first like started out, I was basically told you shouldn't ever move. Like you should be able to cover 3 octaves without moving at all.
Mm.
And
I don't feel that's possible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely hard.
It is.
You know,
you don't want to get injured of your back or something.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We all should feel very natural and very relaxed when we play the instruments,
Right.
and we feel like we can move around. It's a big instrument.
Yeah. I always thought like, oh, if it feels bad, I'll just get used to it and it'll just become natural at a certain point. Like that's kind of what I was told. And they were like, yeah, you should be able to cover the whole thing in 2 steps. Which maybe there's an application for that, but I think
people being I think people have different preferences. Sometimes some people maybe really very tall, and also 2 steps is enough for them to move around 5 octaves. But if we are not that tall, and then we have to to play around of this big instrument, then we have to that we have a good plan of the instruments where we should move and to help us to really benefit to the music we play. To see you play something actually very struggle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think that's something we need to think about. Everything we say and we talk is not 100% absolutely this way is right, this is wrong. I think it really depending on the situation and depending on the person, and also how they felt this will be benefit to them. But purely from watching the performance you did, I think more movements and I think the height of the gesture, it will help you for you future benefits for the performance. Because I want you look much more comfortable and much more relaxed when you play the instruments, because you're a great player and you can play the piece really well. I think those things are actually can help you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now I'm moving on to my next question. Mallet choice. Are you happy with your mallet choice for the performance I just
Well,
saw?
yeah. Well, those actually weren't the mallets that I normally played the piece with. Normally, I played the
It's big
piece
for big
with
first roll and size.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Normally, I played the piece with Burret ensembles, and MBE 7 in the bass, and then 13s for the rest. Mainly because Burret told me to do that.
Mhm.
But for the video, when I was recording beforehand, I kind of like played like a bit with both of them to kind of see which one I thought like would sound best for like the video, and I landed on the Van Cises. So
Mhm.
I think for the
So
purposes of the video,
which combination you use? So which numbers of that combination you do?
I did the monotone 113s
Mhm.
for all of them.
Also, all of them. So you use
Yeah.
just one set rather than a combination.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So for me to hear the video I just saw, I feel because this piece it has a variety of range of the instruments. I feel like this piece involved with lots of bass, lots of middle, and lots of top. So when when you use the mallet to play the top sides, I hear lots of tack sound of the instrument. So when your mallet's playing maybe the top register of the instruments, I always hear the tack sound almost as loud as the note. So it feels for me as a percussionist, of course, I understand. For example, if I'm not a percussionist, I'm just purely a musician or non-musician. When I hear it, I probably hear a two different sound of this. If you know what I'm talking about. So for example, you use much softer mallets play on the top of the instruments. You don't only hear the note, but you also hear lots of extra note, which is not a note, which is basically the yarn attacking to the bar, that kind of making an extra sound. So for me, I think probably you could have a rethink about the mallet choice, especially your top one. If you do use 13s on 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4, just use a bit harder ones or something to help you, because that mallet always goes to the middle to top register of the piece. So really helps your audience to hear very clear which line you are bringing and which kind of things. Because now I think because you're playing the same, all four mallets are the same. Sometimes I do feel I hear lots of extra attack sound of the instrument. What do you?
No, yeah. I definitely heard that when I was playing and choosing that mallet. I think I personally like the sound, but I totally get why it's not the most desirable thing in every case, and I think there's definitely a time and place for it. So
Yeah, I mean, I like the mallets. I have this set of mallets. I used quite a few times when I was long time ago, and it's the good weight. Also, the sound is very clear. So I think just whenever you play a piece, for example, this piece or other pieces, I think it just to think about how you bring out the beauty of the sound of the instrument to your audience and how they can clearly hear this piece. Because if it almost felt like there's few different lines are actually come out in the same time, but you want to bring out different the piece. I mean, the instrument. So it gives me or other people much more clear line of the piece. Yeah, I think that's but
that
obviously,
makes sense.
but obviously people have different ideas and different thoughts. But just purely for me, that's what I felt. And also, sometimes I felt you're a little bit rushed in some of the passages, some basic passages.
No, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think for saying that, because this is a very difficult piece of music to play, And so there are lots of details needs to be focused on different passages. But sometimes I think when it's very busy and you have lots of notes to play and you have to moving around, I just feel the tempo sometimes is not very sustained. So maybe I think whenever in the future you play this piece, I think you just be careful a little bit of that kind of the tempo, because when he always have this groove, and this groove you already have to stay in this groove and move on to the next one. So I think when sometimes you rush a little bit, I feel like this is not really sit very well. So I think just be careful a little bit of that. I don't know how did you feel that sometimes when you this video probably, how do you feel?
Yeah, I there as I kind of said before, my goal with performing this piece was to kind of show as much as I can. So
Yeah.
I think looking back, I think I leaned a little bit too hard into some of like the pulling and pushing of time, to make that kind of to make it a little bit that kind of made it a little bit more unclear than I think I probably should have done or would do now. But yeah, I like there were even some parts where I would like tripletize a certain part because it's what I heard, and I was and like that was my rhythmic interpretation. So like yeah, I think for sure, like if I was to play the piece now, I wouldn't lean so hard into that stuff just to show that I can,
Yeah. But after all what I said to you, and I think the video you have showed to me, the great potential and also the talents. So it's absolutely a yes from me. if you thinking you're trying to show everything into that video, I think the video have showed everything you could be done in that kind of few minutes playing. So I think it just in the future, I think because that was the preparation of your auditions. So in the future, I think you can focus on other details for the performance, because I feel like you very care about each different bits of how you played. I think you could working on a little things, and also it's a great piece to have in your repertoire list and repertoire choices. So I think you move on to next, and it's a bit, and also I think it's a great step of this piece as well. I think once you play this piece, when you go on the next steps, I think it is much more benefit to yourself as well. I think, as I said, it's a difficult piece to play, and you did it really well. Good job, and you got what you wanted.
Yeah.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, great job, Jake. Well done. Okay, so I think we're going to move to Layla now. If I can find her. Layla, are you there?
Yes.
Hopefully she will pop on. Hey, how you doing? You okay?
Hello.
Hello. Okay, do you want to just introduce your... Yep, all good. The floor is yours. Do you want to say a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be performing?
Yeah.
Hello, Layla.
Hi, my name is Layla Stewart. I'm currently a music education major at the University of Texas at Arlington, and the piece I played is Frano Porteño by Astor Piazzolla, arranged by Pius Chang. And yeah.
Great.
Okay, let's see if I can just cue this one up.
Hi, Layla.
Hi.
Good performance. Well done.
Thank you.
How do you feel the performance we just saw and we just heard?
Definitely can improve. Definitely, yeah, it can improve. I've already had a lot of like other sessions over this piece, and there's a lot of like different, there's a lot of different like tips and stuff I've gotten that I'm definitely going to be putting towards it, and I'm ready to see your perspective on the piece as well.
Yeah, I think the first question for me is, do you enjoy it?
I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
That piece is one of the pieces that made me like really want to like excel at keyboard.
I think again, it's also a difficult piece to play because when Pius arranged this piece, it's not an easy piece to play. And what I'm asking is, why I want to ask you, do you enjoy it, and do you like the piece, and do you like the music? Because the performance I just saw, I think you're really serious about it. I think probably you agree with me on this one. I think you're very serious, and you play it very serious. And so that's why I have this question: do you enjoy to play the piece? Because I really want to see you enjoy playing it, because it's piazzolla, it's tango music. And also this piece is talk about one of the four seasons, so it's something, it's different because it's tango music. I want to see you dance, I want to see you enjoy it. But for the video I saw, I think you played well and you played on the notes, but I think there's something been missing. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. I very much let the recording process kill my mental on this piece.
Yeah. You probably record this piece because you said since then you had some tips from different people. I think it was quite a while ago, or it was how long ago?
So this was recorded the end of May, close to the beginning of June. I relearned the piece to record for WPG and just get it in my hands.
Okay. And also, I think you have habits. So when you make some mistakes, I think your facial impression, it tells me where you did it wrong. I think this is something I think you need to really be careful, because sometimes there's a million notes to play of some of the piece of music. For example, this piece have lots of notes to play, but I'm not gonna, as an audience, I'm not gonna like focus on every single note you play, everything what happened in the performance, because I felt sometimes you make a very little mistake, which is nobody gonna recognize. But when your facial impression, you did something, like you were smile a little bit, or you were doing like something, I can tell, oh, she actually did something wrong here. Did you realize that when you record that piece, that recording?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you normally have that kind of habits? When sometimes you play something, you were like, oh, or some kind of facial impressions or something from your body can do that. You do. I think when you practice, so when you practice on your own and in the practice rooms, I think it's sometimes you have to practice. When you make a mistake, don't make any impressions or any reactions on it, because as I said, don't let your audience to see what had actually happened. We all because as a live music, when you play live music to your audience, there's always something gonna happen in your performance. Some people are perfect, when they play something that never had anything happens. But for me, I think there's always something going to happen, but don't let them to know. I think always, if something you play a wrong note, or you play or you had a memory slips, and you just, nothing happens. It's just me, and I'm playing something for you, and just enjoy it. I think it's something really important, because once you got this in your memory, and also you in the future when you play it and you don't have that kind of thing. Because when you practice a lot, when you have this kind of habits in your minds and you remember that every time you, doesn't matter you play whatever instruments and whatever music you play, you always have that. So people will actually realize that, especially when you're doing an exam or concert or competition. Don't let them to know. I think sometimes piece of music in our hands and we don't really actually looking every single note, which one's right notes, which one's wrong notes. We don't really care. I think as long as a majority of the music you're presenting to us are great, then you're great. Don't you agree? I'm sure you hear plenty of performances and people playing this piece and playing other pieces. Yeah, and also I think what other thing, it helps you to play this piece because you jump around, right, up and down of the instruments because it's and I feel you're very tight on your upper body. I think you have definitely to relax your shoulders because I feel it's everything when you play is here, is here. But I think your shoulder, your whole body needs to be much more relaxed than when you play. Doesn't matter you play marimba or play timpani or whatever instruments you play on. I think you need to be fully relaxed because why I'm saying this, you don't want to get injured after playing a long time because you don't want to not move your upper body, just move your hands and your arms. And after a while, you'll be like, oh my God, my neck got some problems. You know, I think that's so important. Yeah.
I agree. I definitely have been really focusing on like muscle health and stuff like that. So I'll keep an eye out on my shoulders.
Yes, definitely. I think, yeah, if you have a mirror in your practice room, I think it's so important that you sometimes check if your position, everything is all right to help yourself to relax, especially because when you relax, when you hold your mallets to play the instruments, you will get a much better sound of the instruments. Trust me. I think this is so important. And also for this piece you just played, I feel sometimes the tempo is not really sustained. Sometimes you kind of like rushed or suddenly I think your tempo is being really pushed. That's what I feel. So I'm like bum 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 dum dum dum. I feel like bum 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 bum. Sometimes I feel, oh, suddenly you change a new speed of tempo. It's kind of a surprise for me. So really be careful and watch out your tempo. Every session you're changing, I think be careful of that. It's important. And also I sometimes hear some wrong notes. The wrong notes, I'm not so sure if you landed it wrong or you would just accidentally hit it in the wrong notes. If you're looking back and hear back the recording you did, I think there's few places I wasn't sure if you figure out if you landed when you practice or you were just when you recorded it, you just accidentally play something wrong.
Yeah, I played it wrong.
Okay.
So maybe the note accuracy thing.
Okay, so accuracy. It's not like you intend to play it in the wrong notes. So yeah, but I think just to make sure that go back to your music and check you actually 100% play the right notes. Because I hear some harmony changing a little bit different than what I recognize this piece. So maybe just to double check, just in case. And finally, I think not actually finally, I had two more things to say. The mallet choice, I can see you use the same mallets all the way through rather than combination mallets, right? So because this piece involves lots of bass, high notes, I think maybe to try to use a combination mallets to try just to get different sound of this piece, you probably get a different feeling. Or have you ever tried?
So the mallets are all Alberts, but the bottom is they're different numbers, like hardnesses.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom is like medium soft, and then I have 2 and 3 as medium, and then 4 as a hard.
Okay. Yeah, because from what I saw, I thought you did something. I thought it was like the same mallets, but I think because this piece with lots of bass note, so maybe just bass note, maybe too soft, and you can play it, really bring out the fat and bass sound of the instruments to really let the bass ring especially in the console when you play this piece, you can really feel that. Especially you play on the Yamaha 6000, and it's such a big instrument. You really want to that vibrate of this bottom E and bottom D, and that's two notes you always play. And then the middle one you use medium. I think that's fine, and I think you use hard. That's fine too. So always try to try a different sound of the piece, and I think it really helps. Especially tango music is always the first beat always important. That boom boom the rum boom. So the bass is very important. Yeah, maybe if you do have the bass melody, just to try. I think you probably get a different sound world as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
I used to use the one under the mallet when I'm currently using. The problem I faced was when it got to the faster, like the very active, like left-hand part later in the piece, I struggled to play it.
Is it because it's too heavy?
Yes.
Okay.
But I can work on it. I can suck it up.
Yeah,
and
I think
get used to it.
Yeah, because I think you use Stevens grip, and also you use Ludwig Albert mallets, right? So because his mallet is very heavy, and also because he used traditional way to play. So and also you use basically we call independent grip, Stevens grip. So it's difficult because it's hard, and also you only have two fingers to control that. So I understand that, but just to try to work on it and to try to avoid that kind of thing. But I think otherwise, you will try to add a set of mallets, which is a much more lighter, but also with the big bass mallet. So you can try on. I think it will help you to bring out the sound, and also the technique difficulties, because it's heavy mallets, because you use Stevens individual grip, independent grip, so it's hard with the big intervals. I can understand, because I had few people came to me talk about that as well. So just try different mallets. I'm sure you have different mallets, different mallets as well. One last thing, you have lots of in the final session, you have lots of like da da dum dum ba ba bum ba ba bum. So 16 notes plus 8 notes. I always want to hear clear, like because the very last note I can't really hear. I can hear ba ba ba, but I want to hear ba ba bum ba ba bum. If you know what I'm talking about.
Is it the very like the end?
Not very end, but towards the end. Bum dum 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 bum ba ba bum bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum. You know where I'm singing?
Yes, I think so.
Bum ba ba bum bum da 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 bum ba ba bum ba ba bum.
Wait.
So that ba ba bum ba 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 bum. I always hear ba 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 ba. I only can hear the first note, but I don't hear the second and the third note. So make sure your arms and your wrists are reboned to get the 3 notes. Bum 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 ba ba bum da 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 bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba bum. So I maybe suggest you try to like almost use like a one grip rather than you did. What you did for that session? Which kind of technique did you use?
I've been trying to stroke it out to get that third note to speak more. So like like that, but it's not very successful.
Yeah. So did you just use one stroke, which is you want to get like the the second and the third note? Did you use double stroke, or did you just use single stroke?
I try to do single stroke for all the notes, but
Yeah, I think when you do single stroke, I don't think you can get out of the second and third notes. Maybe try to use double stroke, so you can hear the second note very clear, and then the third note will be maybe rebound, but second stroke you can hear it like ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba ba bum. Otherwise, if you use da da da, so you gradually your legato of this single stroke, and then the second note I won't hear it. or very light, because your left hand still have some bass line. I don't know if I explain this clear.
I guess just to make sure. So the first double stroke the first and second note, or double stroke the second and third note?
So use the double stroke for the second and third note, because you're already gonna hit the first note, so you don't have to worry about much about the first note. So use the double stroke for the second and third note, so I can hear up 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 3 notes.
Okay, I'll definitely try that out.
Yeah, if that makes sense, just to try it. I think it will help you to bring out the different, bring out the second and third note. Because from the video I saw on, I can only hear very, very quietly about what do you do. But probably you can hear the same thing when you practice. Yeah, so make sure I can hear all the single notes you play. It's very important, because that is the melody. Bum, dun, 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 bum, ba, ba, bum. So treat every single notes are important, not only the first note. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Thank
I've
you.
heard. Yeah, I think that's all I've said to the performance. I mean, overall, you did a good job, and also you said you got some other tips as well. So I hope this something will help you a little bit. So hopefully, when next time I see you, you can have some different ideas, and I want to see you smile when you play. Enjoy it.
All right, Layla, have you got any questions? You got a little time if you've got any questions.
Yeah. So regarding like keeping the body relaxed and stuff, what do you, in your opinion, what is like the best like position on the board in terms of, like spacing between the body and the keys and stuff like that?
You mean how to relax when you play? So basically, I highly recommend you to, before you play any pieces, and to really fully warmed up your body. Do you do exercises, or do you do any scales before you play the pieces?
Yes, I do 2 or 3 warm-ups that like I did back in the marching season.
Yeah, because for my routine every day, so when I practice, I always use at least about 30 minutes to warm up my body. All the skills I go, I starting with slow kind of movement, and to really get my arms move a lot, and then gradually I get in faster tempo, and to play a very fast tempo of any skills from bottom to the top of the instruments, and to really get my arms go around. So when I really feels my arms are actually warmed and my muscles are relaxed, and then I start to play the piece, it really helps. And also I don't feel any tensions on my shoulder, on my arms, and on my wrists. So I think it really, you feel, because everybody's different, but when you practice and then when you play, you feel like, okay, I'm not like just, I didn't do any kind of warm-ups and straight into the performance. You do feel that tension on your arms, on your shoulders. So once you relax and you play, I think it will really helps you to relax when you do some music. For example, you're doing this Piazzolla piece. It involves lots of movement of your body. So make sure that you're fully warmed up before you play anything. Yeah, and also starting from slow movement and big stroke, slow movement, to really get your wrists and your arms are actually open up, and then gradually doing like a faster movements. And so your brain gives you muscles and your arms a signal that you are ready to do something crazy. If that's something you would like to. I hope that will help you.
Yes, thank you. All of this was very insightful. I really appreciate it.
Great.
All right, thanks, Layla. Nice one, well done. And we're going to bring on Burke now for a final performance. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
How you right?
Hello.
Doing pretty good.
The floor is yours. I'm just going to. So I've just for Burke, we've got 2 performances, if that's okay with you, because they're both quite short. So Burke, which one do we want to go for first?
Toccata.
Batucada, I'm going to cue that up right now. All right.
Awesome.
So yeah, if you just want to say a little bit about yourself and what you're going to play, that'd be great.
I'm Burke. I am currently a rising junior at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, and I'm going to be playing Batucada, which is a kind of like Tompkins Tuverez style multi-solo, and then another Piazzolla arrangement, Libertango. Very excited for you to hear what I have to play.
Yeah, great.
All right, so we'll do Batucada first.
Great.
Thank you.
I thought you had a great energy when you played this piece,
Thank you.
and really enjoyable to watch you play. I'm just wondering, when you played the piece and the contrast, how do you feel that?
I feel like I did an okay job with the contrast, especially dynamically. That was a big focus. Was not only dynamically, but in style and feeling. I wanted each of these like distinct sections and some of these motifs that go throughout the solo to all feel as different as possible. And I think I did a pretty good job of that, but that was definitely a big focus. Learning it was trying to make it all feel interesting, even though a lot of this that's going on to the average listener is like complex rhythms and it might be hard to latch onto. I wanted to be able to give the audience something to feel like, oh, okay, something new is happening now, and I can tell by the way he's playing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's joy to watch you play, and I think you bring out some really nice ideas how you want to do. I think because it's from the beginning to the end, it's stay in the groove. I think you have a nice of the bass and the tambourine. Those two are actually fundamental rhythm to help you. I think you probably could relax a bit much more. I think relaxation is important. I think because it almost felt like the doom, doom. I almost feel like the so chill and so relaxed. And even though you play so many things in the middle of the things, and I think probably Pablo gave the idea like simple but so so simple but so complicated. In the same way, kind of combined together. Your 2 feet are playing like dum, dum, and still have that kind of chill, kind of relaxed feeling whole way through. But also once the snare drum kick in, and sometimes something is like whoa, and then back to relaxation. Oh, and something back again, and it's that kind of feeling. Instead of like I see you very focused from beginning to end, but you play well. But I think it's the way how you can, I think, get a different idea, maybe if I say in this way. I think it will benefit even more what you're trying to say. I think, and also some, especially at the beginning 2 or 3 lines, I feel the tempo sometimes it wasn't really settled in 100%. I feel it was a bit like shaking, and then gradually in the end, not in the end, gradually after those 2, 3 lines, and then it's even harder bits coming through, and you set it in really well. It was something interesting for me, because I thought at the beginning it was probably a bit easier for people to play, but actually I don't feel the tempo was set in really well. But later on it was really good. But just beginning, I feel like there's something happens. I don't know how you feel.
I absolutely agree. I know the exact few bars where it kind of got shaky. So
yeah, it was
100% agree with that.
Yeah, I was like, I was kind of little question mark come from my head, and then okay, that's good. Yeah, I think it's just this piece. I would say it's something chill but something intense, but combined together, this kind of feeling whole way through. Yeah, I hope that was something as an audience, because I never heard this piece before. This is my first time, but it's quite cool.
Thanks. I haven't seen many other people play this.
Yeah,
it's just from a book with 3 of solos like this by Pablo Riepi. This is the only one that's got a constant like kick and hi-hat thing, since it's based on batucada from Brazil.
yeah.
But I think it really should be played more. I don't get why people don't play it. It's pretty awesome.
It's fun to watch as well. I feel like it's just like very simple. It's like you play in a group, and then you play in a band, and people give you a basic beat, and then your solo starts, and then you have a rest, and then you come back again, and then you're going out again, and you're coming back again. And it's kind of like simple, a bit difficult, a bit coming back down, and then going back again. I think that kind of feeling. So so that's why I think it makes people, when you watch it, is quite interesting to play. Yeah, I hope that was a little bit, some little tips to help you to.
For sure.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is the chill feeling. I think I want to feel that you play dung, something. You can do it. I mean, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any questions you want to ask from this point?
I don't. Not about this one.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page, and you know exactly which parts I was mentioning.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So this is Libertango, I believe.
Yep.
All right.
Can't go wrong with more Piazzolla. I can never get enough.
Cool. How do you feel?
I feel like I could have done that recording a whole lot better.
When did you do that recording?
Huh?
When did you do that recording?
It was the end of last semester, so probably 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay.
There's a lot of things. I've listened to the recording so many times, so I can point out like every single like rhythmic inconsistency, and I know every single missed note. But marimba is definitely my weakest point as a percussionist. In high school, I was a marching band kid, mostly playing marching snare drums, so I'm just a little behind, and I still struggle a lot with marimba. So this piece challenged me a lot in terms of chops and other technique challenges.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's mostly the physicality of things that are getting in the way of me playing it as good as I can.
Yeah.
So
I think the
Go
first thing I've seen the performance is I want you to really feel the relaxation of your body. I can feel, or I can see actually, you have tensions on your body when you play.
Yeah,
I don't know. You feel that way?
I do.
So I think relax is very important, and how you relax, because I talked quite a few times today about the relaxation of your body with the other two members. I think it's so important that you relax before you play, because when you play instruments, you shouldn't feel any tensions. You play the piano, you play the wind instruments, you play string instruments, you play percussion instruments. It always feel like the relaxation, and also you feel the instruments is an extension of your body, rather than you give attention to your whole body. I think that's something we all should remember. It doesn't matter if you're a percussionist or other instrumentalist. It's so important that you relax your body to be able to get a better sound, and also to get a better way of produce the sound as well. I think it's so important. Also,
Yeah.
I was discussing this a few years back. Actually, we were talking about because what I'm saying, the wrong notes. What I'm saying is, I was discussing this with Colin Curry. I think that was maybe back in 2022. It was during COVID, and then I think we all agree that marimba is the instrument impossible to make it perfect. This without a single note. It's so easy to hit a round note on the chord. But I think for saying that, but obviously we're aiming to play no like wrong notes, or we're playing, accuracy and things like that. But I think, for example, this piece, the Liber Tango, I think everybody knows this piece. It doesn't matter if you're a percussionist or non-percussionist. Everybody knows this piece. So I think we have to be 3,000 careful, 3,000% to be careful of the round note. I think we need to really focus on the accuracy of this piece, because it's so easy to recognize the round notes. Because normally I don't, because when students came to me bring a really hard piece like Toccata by Anna, or Barrett variations and those incredible piece, and if you make no single round notes, that's impossible almost. But for Liber Tango, I was like, you need to make sure that almost you don't hit any round notes, because when you hit a one round note, people will recognize that. So it's so important that slow practice, the accuracy, and your body movement to help your accuracy is so important, I think. And also, most important I've heard from this performance, I want you to be taking your time. I feel in between phrases of this piece, this arrangement, Marek Samuel, I think you need much more space. You don't have to feel rushed to going to a next session and going to the next session and to finish the piece. Again, it's like the first piece you played. It has that kind of chill feeling. It's Liber Tango. So sometimes some of the places you need a bit time to reach that note, or you need a bit time to move on to the next session. Then just take your time, because it's a solo piece. You just play by yourself. You don't have a piano accompaniment, or you don't have other people with you. So give yourself a little bit time. And also when you play like the bar with the da 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 ba ba ba, really kind of bring out the rhythm. So when it's not extra note, don't play it too much. So let me really feel the groove rather than every single note.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's few points. I think for you, I think hopefully that something could help you to get an even better position to play the marimba pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's something could help you. But I mean, I feel like you're a learner and you're willing to do things and you're willing to really push yourself. I can feel that kind of that feeling from even through the screens. But I feel it.
That's a very good compliment. Thank you. I love to hear that. That's for sure.
Yeah. But do you have any question you want to ask me regarding to this piece or regarding to in general of
Let me think for a second. I think I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any tips, yeah, the thing that I struggled the most with this piece was I mentioned earlier how the physicality and the technique is the main thing getting in the way, and I think it's the main thing making me miss notes. But I specifically struggle with two things. First is the octaves. Having never played octaves seriously before, having learned them for the first time for this piece, they were really hard to come on, and I still struggle to get them to sound good. The evenness of the notes, although the accuracy of the octave is okay. Whenever we do the octave laterals, when the triplets come in, second section, where it repeats the same chord structure, that is a thing that I struggle with a lot physically, especially in the left hand, to get that two mallet to come out in the lateral, the triplet down. You probably know what I'm talking about. I couldn't. So do you have any like tips for the technique of that stuff?
Yeah. So you use Steven's script, right? And how do you warm up every day and how do you do your exercises?
I start every single time before I play marimba about 30 minutes. I hit laterals, I hit single verticals, I hit what's it called? Interval changes.
You do big
I've been
interval
adding triple laterals.
Sorry,
Say
do
it
you
again?
do you do big interval change? Like for example, eighth, second, fifth, fourth, fifth, third, eighth, second. Do you do that kind of exercise, like big jumps?
Not that big jumps. I do triads. So I kind of move up a scale in triads. So I'm mostly doing like thirds. I'm not going from like an eighth to a first though.
Yeah, I think when you start from today or tomorrow. I don't know the timing there. Maybe it's too early or too late. So when you starting practice today or tomorrow, to try to practice big interval jumps. So it will help you, especially for this piece, because this piece has lots of big sudden jumps. For example, the intervals. And also, when you do that kind of practice, and to really check if you relax your body enough. Because sometimes, when you have these big intervals, your arms very easily to get very intense. So sometimes it will not help you, for example, the accuracy. And like what you said, you're struggling for example, there's a little bit up arpeggios when you go up, and then suddenly you have to change a big down, going to the melody. Sometimes you don't feel the accuracy. I think the big interval jump is for sure.
That is incredibly helpful.
Yeah, and also the rotation kind of practice as well. Not only do the big jumps, but also rotate your arms and your wrists. But also the combination you can decide by yourself. It doesn't have to be 1 2 3 4 1 3 2 4 and 4 2 3 1. It could be a combination. Yeah.
Also, just to chime in as well, you could also work on like the accents and the inflection of each note as well. So like bring out 1, bring out 3, bring out 2. Because if you're struggling with 2, then make 2 the focal point.
I see. Yeah, especially for the laterals down. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's very, very helpful.
Cool. Any other questions?
That was very informative and very insightful.
All right. Yeah, that was awesome. Leo, thank you so much. We're going to let you go just a little early because I think everyone's had to bolt off to gigs and stuff. So, and I know it's like super late with you. So thank you so much.
No problem. Pleasure. Always pleasure to working with, the talent people from around the world to be on this WPG project. It's always something I always admire a lot. So, and also Tim, you know, a very dear friend. We know each other for being very long time now.
Indeed, and long may it continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice one. All right, well, we're going to wrap up the stream. Tomorrow night we've got Tanel Iko Novikov from Estonia, so check that one out. And then we're really into full swing with the academy. So we'll see you over the next 2 weeks for action-packed percussive action. Until then.